We here. You feel me? We here though. We here. Back again with another one, man. J Benz the Light, aka Tahuti Ja. Back again with another live stream, man. In today's live stream, we're gonna go over Cyclomancy, lesson 4. How to put your resistant nerve gap under psychic power control. Now, for my people that's watching me on the live on TikTok right now, I'm live on my YouTube channel at the moment. Now, if you want to tune into the live and to see what's going on my YouTube channel right now at the moment, where I'm going over cyclomancy, the secret of psychic power control, lesson 4 specifically, how to put your resistant nerve gap under psychic power control, then what you want to do is you want to tap into the link in my bio. You feel me? You want to tap into the link in my bio and go to my YouTube channel, J Benz the Light, and you gonna see me live on there. And tap it, man. Tap it with your boy. You feel me? You feel me? You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get into it. Now, I'm reading from, like I said, Cyclomancy, The Secret of Psychic Power Control by Frank Rudolf Young. And today we're going over lesson 4. Lesson 4 is how to put your resistant nerve gap under psychic power control. We're gonna jump straight into it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into it. You feel me? All right. In the previous lessons, the nerve gap or synapse was repeatedly pointed out as being a barrier in the path of the messages being sent by your body to your brain, as well as of commands being delivered by your brain to your body. Since practically all nerve pathways contain one or more nerve gaps, the speed of your reflexes can be significantly retarded by them, and speed of transmission is a prime requisite when using your unknown self. Uh, This lesson will show you how to rush your messages and commands through your nerve gaps and increase unbelievably the effects of your nerve messages or brain commands. Their speed of transmission is slowed down appreciably at the nerve gaps because they have to bridge the distance between the two nerve segments at the gap before they can proceed on their way. You feel me? Now, my people on TikTok, once again, if you want to see what I'm reading and be a part of the live, tap into my live right now on my YouTube channel, J Benz the Light. The link is in my bio on my TikTok page. So tap in. Let's get it. You feel me? You feel me? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep going. Your chemical nerve bridge and how it conduct. Oh, matter of fact, let me speak on this real quick. I'm gonna read this paragraph one more time. This lesson will show you how to rush your messages and commands through your nerve gaps and increase unbelievably the effects of your nerve messages or brain commands. Their speed of transmission is slowed down appreciably at the nerve gaps because they have to bridge the distance between the two nerve segments at the gap before they can proceed on their way. Now, this is very important and very key information due to the fact that your consciousness itself comes from your nervous system. You feel what I'm saying? Your nervous system is essentially where your consciousness itself is being projected out from. You feel me? Your nervous system is what makes it so that the signal from the spirit goes from your brain all the way to your body. You feel me? If I want to move my arm, if I want to move my leg, if I want to do anything, I send the message from the spirit goes to the brain, and then from the brain sends the signal almost instantaneously at the speed of light or whatever to all the different nerves and whatever and all the different type of stuff that makes it so that we move or I move or whatever. So with understanding this, then you understand now that if you learn how to psychically take control of the speed of transmission in which your nerves are transmitting the information and the messages, then in turn, what would happen is you'll be able to do things like have a just a quick ass reaction. You'll be able to speed up the process of your nervous system, speed up the process of your consciousness itself to make it so that you're able to process things way faster, astronomically faster than you ever did before. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But not only that, but way more than that. But let's continue. Your chemical nerve bridge and how it conducts your messages or commands across the nerve gap. The nerve gap is the place where one nerve segment carrying a message or command ends and where the next nerve segment, which carries it on further to its destination, begins. The ends of the two nerve segments face each other like the prongs of two forks. When your message or command reaches the end of the first nerve segment, it stops. But the ending of the segment then releases a certain fluid or humor acetylcholine, whatever, which enables the message or command to transfer itself from one nerve segment to the other, so that the second nerve segment can pick it up and carry it on further to its destination. Frequently, a third and smaller nerve segment lies between the two main ones to connect them, adding another two nerve gaps for the message or command to bridge. What am I reading? I'm reading Cyclomancy, The Secret of Psychic Power Control by Frank Rudolf Young on my YouTube right now as we speak. You feel me? It takes much longer for the message or command to be conveyed across the nerve gap than for it to move through the nerve body itself. It takes, in fact, about 40% as much time for it to spring across the gap as it does to travel through the whole nerve pathway composed of all the segments. Considering how infinitesimal a portion of the length of the whole nerve pathway the nerve gap amounts to, the message or command moves very slowly across it. The reason is that the resistance which it encounters there is 12 times that which it encounters when passing through the nerve body itself, because the nerve segment ending has to produce acetylcholine first before the message or command can be conveyed across the nerve gap. A nerve fiber, besides, does not fatigue, but the nerve gap does. And that increases still more the resistance which the message or command can meet there. Is he an NPC talking about me, Ramen accidentally? Probably. In order to send your messages or commands faster through your nerve pathway, you have to send it faster across this nerve gap or nerve. It says nerve gaps twice. Oh, nerve gap or nerve gaps. They can travel no faster through the nerve body. You also have to intensify the nerve electricity, which is transmitting your message or command. All of that is desirable because speeding up your messages or commands accelerates your reflexes and contributes to swift thinking and acting into long lasting youth. It also improves your psychic power ability by enabling you to project and also to withdraw your psychic power projections to another person, as you learn to do with your brain horns, with such stupefying velocity that he cannot adapt himself to them fast enough and escape their conquering influence. Your psychic arc and how to create it to reduce the resistance at the nerve gap. In the laboratory, the resistance at the nerve gap can be reduced markedly by giving the message or command carrying nerve consecutive high stimulations. These are repeated until the resistance at the nerve gap becomes so slight that the speed of the transmission across it increases to nearly as fast as that through the nerve body itself. The acetylcholine secreted at the nerve gap is built up with the first strong stimulation given the nerve. After a brief pause, while the acetylcholine is gradually dissolving at the nerve gap, the nerve is given a second strong stimulation. This time, the message or command will cross the nerve gap faster because some additional acetylcholine still remains undissolved in it. Following another brief pause, the nerve is stimulated a third time. After several such stimulations, the nerve gap retains such a large quantity of undissolved acetylcholine that its resistance to the very next message or command may be reduced to one-eighth of what it was originally. You can achieve similar results in your everyday life with the psychic arc. This text is called Cyclomancy, The Secret of Psychic Power Control by Frank Rudolf Young. You can achieve similar results in your everyday life with the psychic arc. This is the name for the trick of thinking just the opposite of the situation you face in order to counteract the effects of the first one on your conscious mind. If you are confronted with a situation that frightens you, for instance, think of something that makes you feel calm, but think of it only for about 2 seconds. Stop thinking about it before your conscious mind gets bored with it and returns to the reality of the original situation. After another 2 seconds, think that opposite thought once more, but intensify it now with psychic power command rocket delivered from your psychic power center in your forehead. More on that, the psychic power command rocket is found in the previous lessons in the text, that is cyclomancy. So for those who haven't seen the other videos that I made on it, I recommend you go check them out on my YouTube channel. Continue that procedure, intensifying the opposite thought more and more each time you let it in your mind, so that you drive it into your conscious mind through more and more fibers of your unknown self. Continue doing so until the nerve gap or gaps of that nerve pathway are so heavily saturated with acetylcholine that the opposite thought rushes across the nerve gaps to your conscious mind faster than the original thought. That, in a nutshell, is what the psychic arc consists of. You will learn how to create it easily in exercises farther along in this lesson, and it will bring about a swift. My fault. I lost my place. My fault. Oh. Bring about a swift change in your everyday life in many outstanding ways. With it, you will learn skills, face new situations, perform in public, and overwhelm others as you never dreamed possible. You will also control yourself with the confidence of a psychic master and keep a cool head under the most shattering circumstances. Just master the psychic arc, even to a minor degree, and that will be all of it that you will need. You feel me? Note, actually, there are three types of psychic arcs, and you will be taught them all in this lesson. They are 1. The psychic arc, 2. The all over psychic arc, and 3. The delayed psychic arc. Study all three thoroughly and put them to immediate use. If you mastered all three alone, you could do just about the impossible in your life. First, though, continue studying more about the psychic arc. What your psychic arc does at the nerve gap when you add psychic power control to it. When you increase the speed of some of your reflexes in the usual everyday manner, such as by repeatedly practicing a specified movement or skill, it means that whenever you engage in that movement or skill, the endings of the nerve segments of its conditioned nerve pathway secrete acetylcholine faster from the very beginning than they did before. The confidence and efficient rhythm which you have acquired in that movement or skill add a feeling of pleasantness and satisfaction to your body and stimulate all your loving nerves to function better. And these nerves always secrete acetylcholine when stimulated. So important is it for you to feel calm and contented in order to secrete acetylcholine that whenever you are frightened, you secrete sympathine from your fighting nerves instead, and no acetylcholine from your loving nerves. Even your digestion stops then. Your heartbeat races, your pupils dilate, your blood pressure rises, sugar pours from your liver into your blood, and so on, as your muscles prepare for fight or flight. When you are calm and contented, however, your appetite and your digestion are good. Your heartbeat is regular. Your pupils constrict. Your blood pressure drops and normalizes. Your liver stops pouring sugar into your blood and accumulates it instead because your muscles relax and feel at ease. To bridge your nerve gap faster and easier productively, then, you have to keep your loving nerves dominant over your fighting nerves, and that can be done best by far with the psychic arc. When you add psychic power control to your confidence and efficient rhythm, you could increase your power of digestion alone eightfold, as you already know. Psychic power over your psychic arc, in other words, can increase the secretion of your digestive juices, which are stimulated into production by your loving nerves eightfold without your psychic arc even bridging the nerve gaps faster. Imagine how much more your psychic power controlled psychic arc could increase your digestive juices when it does bridge the nerve gaps faster. That is what your psychic arc can do at the nerve gap when you add psychic power control to it. How to master any skill much faster with the psychic arc. When you get ready to attempt a new skill or performance, fear and uncertainty seize hold of you, and the nerve endings of your fighting nerves secrete sympathine, while those of your loving nerves dry up. Your whole nervous system, as a result, acquires a sympathine or an anti acetylcholine tendency. When you actually attempt the new skill or performance, then the nerve gaps of your muscles secrete comparatively little acetylcholine, and your muscles perform tensely and awkwardly. That deprives you of still more confidence and increases your fear. Your fighting nerves, as a consequence, secrete still more sympathine, while your loving nerves dry up still more. The nerve gaps of your muscles, as a result, secrete still less acetylcholine, and your muscles perform still more tensely and awkwardly. Soon after, though, when you happen to make a right move or two, you regain some confidence. Now your sympathine dries up slightly, and your loving nerves secrete some acetylcholine for a change. The nerve gaps of the command nerves to your muscles will do likewise, and your muscles regain some rhythm and ease. But as soon as you make another mistake, your acetylcholine dries up again, and your fighting nerves secrete sympathine once again. Again, your muscles perform tensely and awkwardly. With persistent practice over hours, weeks, months, or years, you master the movement or skill and acquire deftness and confidence when engaging in it. Your loving nerves then secrete a satisfactory amount of acetylcholine when you perform it, and you will develop into an expert. Your whole learning and mastery period, however, can be reduced as much as 7/8 if you could maintain the same confidence in yourself while learning the skill as after you master it. Your goal then should be to adopt and retain the same masterful confidence in yourself when you are learning anything new as after you master it. You can achieve it by encouraging your loving nerves to secrete 8 times the amount of acetylcholine from their nerve endings at the very beginning of your apprenticeship to any skill, so that your conscious mind and your muscles react 8 times faster to the instructions you receive and to the practice you put into it. That is achieved with a psychic power controlled psychic arc. Exercise 1: How to learn any skill fast with the psychic arc. Alone, undertake something manual which you wish to learn. It can be a hobby, sport, art, or do it yourself craft. Read the instructions or follow them from memory. Whichever you do, your confidence deserts you and you turn tense mentally and physically. With the psychic arc, you think immediately of a delicious food, a juicy steak, custard pie, ice cream, or whatever delight you relish. Visualize it so clearly before you that your mouth waters in sheer anticipation. Your muscles relax and feel again more at ease. Suddenly concentrate again on the skill you are trying to learn and practice it more. Your attention returns, so think again of the entrancing dish. Instead of letting your mind wallow in fear of possible failure and thereby cause your nerve endings to dry up, think of something wonderfully delicious to eat. Try again to learn the skill, and you will find yourself performing it easier and easier. After repeating the above procedure several times, you will be able to visualize the appetizing food so vividly in your mind from the very beginning of learning any skill that you won't turn tense in it at all, even when you engage in it in the presence of other people. Your ability to master any new skill thereafter with remarkable speed will be permanent. Always apply the psychic arc, though, briefly each time. Intensify it with a psychic power command rocket from your psychic power center, and the quantity of acetylcholine accumulating at your nerve gaps will be increasingly fast and speed up your learning. That is how to learn any skill quickly with your psychic power arc. Exercise 2. How to win people to you easily by transferring the psychic arc. The technique is the same whether you are a man or a woman, a friend or a stranger, and you can use it with either sex. You can even use it over the telephone. You are speaking to Jack or Jane and you want him to like you, either for business or social reasons. When he talks, listen attentively, but also think of something you enjoy. You could think either of a juicy steak again or of the fact, true or false, that Jack or Jane is an exciting person to know. If he is not worth knowing, perhaps you had better not cultivate him at all, or you might regret it. Think of all the superb qualities he possesses and aggrandize them in your mind. Cut that thinking short after 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, though, think it again. This time, also intensify it with psychic power. In order to do so, visualize to yourself that Jack or Jane is twice as attractive to you as you previously thought he was. Again, cut that thinking short after 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, though, visualize Jack or Jane as being 3 times as attractive as he was before. Let him do most of the talking too, so that you can concentrate more thoroughly on your thinking and visualizing. Visualize only the marvelous qualities which bless his appearance, voice, attitude, expression, as you recall it if he is not present, humor and sensitivity, and forget his drawbacks. Your whole system, as a result, will soon fill with an overwhelming liking for Jack or Jane. This overwhelming liking rushes to your nerve gaps, and your nerve endings respond by secreting a flood of acetylcholine. A feeling of delight immediately sweeps through Jack's psychic power center, and it is relayed into his whole body. His loving nerves reply by secreting acetylcholine too, and he yearns for your company. You have won him over to you by transferring your own psychic arc from yourself into him. Note: Clark Gable openly confessed that by using, at a director's suggestion, a juicy steak thought, which is but a crude version of the psychic art, he changed his futile movie career at the age of 30 to become the leading male attraction of his time. And he held this position easily until he was 60, when he came to an untimely end. Rudolf Valentino is said to have done likewise. This juicy steak thought or something similar filled their eyes with something mysterious from their unknown cells, which swept the opposite sex off its feet and brought these men fame and fortune swiftly. Jean Harlow and obviously Marilyn Monroe, as well as many other leading ladies and vamps, did likewise and catapulted themselves to fame and fortune with incredible speed, while far greater actresses who did not use that one little trick of their unknown selves were practically never heard of by the general public and were promptly forgotten. How your psychic arc controls your final common pathway. In physiology, the last nerve segment that carries the command to the organ, gland, or muscle being commanded is called the final common pathway. Many other different nerves may be bringing different commands at the same time to this final common pathway, but the only command that finds its way through it to the organ, gland, or muscle to be commanded is the one which has the strongest nerve electricity. You can, in plain language, nullify the weaker and less desirable command which is being delivered to your organ, gland, or muscle with a stronger, more desirable command. Antagonistic commands, besides, cannot occupy the final common pathway simultaneously. The weaker of the two has to give way to the stronger because the final common pathway is selective. Otherwise, you will be trying all day long to do a number of different things at the same time and wind up scrambling around doing nothing productive. To enable the final common pathway of any nerve circuit of yours to put through your desirable commands instead of your undesirable ones, you have to drive your desirable commands more powerfully to your organ, gland, or muscle than your undesirable ones. If you drive all your commands into it with the same power, your final common pathway won't know which one to let through and you will end up accomplishing nothing specific or progressive. And of course, if you put more drive behind your undesirable commands than your desirable ones, as the pessimist and defeatist does regularly, your undesirable ones will be conveyed to the organ, gland, or muscle, and you will lose more than you gain. This is a tremendous scientific fact to be aware of because it reveals to you an easy way to prevent undesirable influences from reaching your body and affecting it adversely. Just nullify those influences with a stronger opposite command. That is precisely what the psychic arc does for you. It can be used to overcome the possibility of inferiority complexes, hurt feelings, feelings of depression, sadness, discouragement, shame, despair, feelings of rejection, dreads of failure, anxiety, embarrassment, or any other negative state of mind which threatens you during an unpleasant situation. Just think the opposite thought, or think of the juicy steak if you could think of nothing else at once. Visualize it, smell it, and taste it so vividly that it grows stronger than the oppressive thought. When both thoughts simultaneously hit the nerve gap preceding the final common pathway, the psychic arc will fill the gap with more acetylcholine than the oppressive thought could fill it with sympathin. The psychic arc thought will consequently bridge the nerve gap, and the oppressive thought will dissipate itself and its sympathin dissolve. If you intensify your psychic arc immediately with a psychic power command from your psychic power center, ordering the steak to taste even juicier and to smell and taste even more delicious, the effectiveness of the psychic arc will be increased by many times. In that way, you prevent your negative thought from commanding your organs, glands, or muscles, or from affecting your body. Its influence over you will be shattered, bombarded after that with psychic power command rockets from your psychic power center, ordering it to get out of your conscious and subconscious minds altogether, and it will weaken and get out and leave you free of it. Should the oppressive thought have already crossed the nerve gap before you can rush your psychic arc to it, and is therefore already lodged in your conscious and subconscious minds, drive your psychic arc into your final common pathway repeatedly every 2 seconds, and rest it for 2 seconds in between. Drive it into in a total of 10 times. That will gradually overwhelm the negative thought and crowd it out of your conscious and subconscious minds. Bolster the attack at the end with 2 or 3 2 second psychic power command rockets delivered from your psychic power center, and that will obliterate the oppressive thought entirely. The power of the all over psychic arc and how to use it. Master next the incredible power of the all over psychic arc. Your body reacts to a stimulation in a specific manner and no other. Why? Because all your nerve gaps do not offer equal resistance to the same stimulation. When you have applied a certain stimulation repeatedly to your body, it forms a habit or conditioned reflex, and it will cross most easily over the nerve gaps along that particular nerve pathway because it is used to crossing them. The nerve endings at those nerve gaps, in other words, will secrete acetylcholine faster, and the acetylcholine will dissolve more slowly. When you apply that stimulation, than they would at other nerve gaps. The stimulation has formed a psychic arc response at that nerve gap. It will encounter the same old resistance at the other nerve gaps which it is not used to crossing. If the intensity of your stimulation is increased, however, more nerve gaps will lose the resistance to it, and the stimulation will bridge across more of them. The stimulation indeed could be intensified to the degree where it spreads over your whole nervous system and builds up a psychic arc response all over it. That is scientifically called irradiation. It is an all over psychic arc. The power of the all over psychic arc to respond to stimulation defies description. It can be used in so many different ways for your gain that they can hardly be listed. Below, however, is an exercise for a necessary way to use it in your everyday life. Exercise. How to ward off the effects of the antagonism of others toward you with the all over psychic arc. You had a recent dispute with Bill Adams, either socially or on the job, and you feel that he loathes you and wishes you harm. You try to forget him, but he remains evilly in your mind. Unless you are over introspective by nature, the chances are that he is brooding vindictively against you, and whether he does so willfully or not, he does wish you harm. He might do no more than that, but the effects on you could be as telling as if he did, for it reaches your psychic power center telepathically and throws you into a morbid, apprehensive frame of mind. It is just as if he were practicing black magic on you. You should free yourself swiftly from the effects of such nefarious thinking on his part. You do so easily with the all over psychic arc. This is how. Nullify Bill Adams' thinking from affecting you by preventing your fighting nerves from producing sympathin. Just contemplate for 2 seconds some dish you enjoy extremely, say the juicy steak. Stop contemplating it for another 2 seconds. Then contemplate it again. Repeat, intensifying your contemplation about the steak each time. Intensify it at first until your mouth feels like watering. Intensify it the second time until your hands feel warm. Intensify it the third time until your feet feel warm. Intensify it the fourth time until your stomach feels warm. Intensify it the fifth time until your chest feels warm. Intensify it the sixth time until your legs feel warm. Intensify it the seventh time until your neck feels warm. To feel pleasantly warm all over you, have to stimulate your loving nerves and draw the blood out of your muscles. Since your loving nerves secrete acetylcholine, they throw your whole body into an acetylcholine secreting tendency, and all your nerve gaps secrete acetylcholine too and hasten your all over feeling of pleasant warmth. Your body is then conditioned to secrete acetylcholine whenever your mind receives messages from Bill's undermining thinking. You will have developed an all over psychic arc against Bill's antagonistic introspection. The all over psychic arc is a permanent acquisition and can be used against anybody who, without meaning to, dislikes you. Just picture the undesirable thinking as emanating from him and nullify it with the psychic arc, and then just intensify the latter successively 7 times. How to gain unconquerable self control from the remarkable secret of the delayed psychic arc. The delayed psychic arc is a stupendous way to suppress and exterminate an undesirable thought command from your conscious and subconscious minds. In physiology, the word suppression means to hold back the responses of your muscles to your brain commands. Physiology, in short, admits that your brain commands to your organs, glands, or muscles can be nullified by another command from another part of your brain. You accomplish just that with your psychic power command rocket when you fire it into any part of your mind or body to countermand any orders which your conscious mind sends out to it. And that is not all. Physiologists have found that your motor area, or the area of your conscious and subconscious minds which commands your muscles, will, on continuous stimulation, lose part of its power to command them. After 15 seconds of continuous stimulation, in fact, your motor area temporarily loses all its power to command them. The same must be true with your psychic power, for your psychic power center is also brain tissue. If you drive your psychic power command through your nerves longer than 2 seconds, as has been frequently stated already, the command will start to lose its effectiveness. It will also start losing its capacity to keep an undesirable command off the final common pathway. If you were driving it for as long as 15 seconds, it would temporarily lose all its power. From that fact, you could learn how to create it and apply it in the following exercise. Exercise. How to obliterate an undesirable habit or compulsion which enters your mind. Below are the first 10 directions to follow. 1. Let the undesirable habit or thought enter your final common pathway. 2. Maintain it there for 15 full seconds until you render it temporarily extinct. 3. Now, drive your psychic arc full strength with the opposite thought into your final common pathway for 2 seconds. 4. Relax it for 2 seconds. 5. Drive it in again for 2 seconds. 6. Relax it again for 2 seconds. 7. Drive it in again for another 2 seconds. 8. Relax it once more for 2 seconds. 9. Drive it in for the last time for another 2 seconds. And 10. Then relax it all together. You have driven in your psychic arc with the opposite thought and relaxed it a total of 4 times. That converts it into the delayed psychic arc. In conclusion, you have completed part 1 of Cyclomancy, the secret of psychic power control. You understand now why your primitive autoconscious is the great source of the hidden power of your mind and body. You already know how to use it effectively in many ways in your everyday life, and that you don't have to ripen it into a psychic master before you can profit from it outstandingly. You are no longer mystified by the anatomy and physiology of your primitive autoconscious, for you know now that it consists of and how it operates. Now you understand better why miracles are possible to perform and without supernatural help. You feel me? And that's lesson 4 of Cyclomancy, The Secret of Psychic Power Control by Frank Rudolf Young. Now, this is a series, and in the next episode of the series, I'll be going over lesson 5 of this text. Lesson 5, which is how to put the nerve electricity in your brain and body under psychic power control. Once again, lesson 5 is how to put the nerve electricity in your brain and body under psychic power control. You feel me? Now, for my people who's watching on TikTok, I may have been talking fast, or you may probably 9 times out of 10, you probably heard something I said and it just went right through or whatever, right? Now, understand that right now at this moment, I'm live on my YouTube channel, speaking, you know, about this at the moment. I'm gonna show you. Hold up. Let me show y'all my people on TikTok that's tuning in from TikTok. I keep that lie on. So this entire time I've been streaming this on live on my YouTube channel. This is my YouTube right here. For my people that's tuning in on TikTok, J Benz the Light. You know what I'm saying? J Benz the Light. And I not only read, but also I show you the entire chapter and everything that I read as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to see the replay of this entire episode, then you'll be able to see it on my YouTube. This is my YouTube right here. Like I said, J Benz the Light. You feel me? J Benz the Light. So with all that being said, my people, set the camera. This is the end of lesson 4. And I'm going to catch y'all again in the next one while we're going over lesson 5. Once again, lesson 5 is how to put the nerve electricity in your brain and body under psychic power control. And also, for those who want to know, once again, this text is called Cyclomancy, the secret of psychic power control by Frank Rudolf Young. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that being said, I appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in. Shout out to all my heads on YouTube. Shout out to my people on TikTok, man, that is also tuning in and getting this knowledge, getting this wisdom, and getting this great understanding. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to your psychic power, because understand something as well, that when it comes to your psychic power, you use your psychic abilities every single day. You feel me? You use your psychic abilities every single day. There is not a day that goes by where you're not using your psychic abilities. You just may not be fully aware and conscious of it. But understand this is what you're doing. Now, when you read text like this, man, that's crazy. How my computer and my TikTok live freeze at the same time. There's something going on. Something going on. But when you read text like this, the Cyclomancy, the secret of psychic power control, these texts put into your conscious mind a conscious knowledge of how to not only use these psychic abilities that all of us have, but how to really take them and evolve them to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So all that being said, man, I appreciate all y'all. I love y'all, man. I do this for the people. Understand that I do this YouTube thing, I do the social media thing. I do it for the people truly because I understand that I am you and that you are me. And there is no such thing as separation in this thing that we call life, in this thing that we call a universe, on this in this place that we call planet Earth, whatever and all that. You know what I'm saying? So all that being said, man, I appreciate y'all once again. This is the end of the live. This is the end of the episode. Tune in to the next one, which will be lesson 5, like I said. You feel me?